Hello and welcome to our reading for the week of October 15th to 21st, 2023. I'm doing this reading a little bit late today. I got a little bit of a late start this morning, and I didn't do anything yesterday because of the eclipse. I did have some meditations and stuff that I did, but not generally a good day for actions or creating new things. So I took that day off. Not sure how the eclipse was for all of you, but as it's been noted, the effects of eclipse can take up to 6 months. And there is also another eclipse coming up in 2 weeks, and there will be another pair of eclipses coming up in April of 2024 that are kind of on opposition line to these. So we've got this cycle here that it is we're in this season and this cycle. In addition, there's been a lot of difficult aspects this week astrologically. Pluto has been, it's been opposite Venus, it's been square Mars, and it's also moved direct this past week. And Mercury is falling into the mix of the eclipse. It's kind of in the same, they're all, if you're looking at Western astrology, all of these are in Libra. In Vedic astrology, all of them, this is at 27 degrees Virgo, because remember, things are 23 degrees different in Vedic astrology from what we do and what we call tropical or Western astrology. So it's just been, it's been a week of some very, very intense aspects. As we know, a lot of stuff is blown up around the world. So not really surprising from an astrological perspective, very sad from many perspectives. And it just seems like when I was on my meditation yesterday, everybody was like, we had people in Australia, we had other people in the US, people in the UK, people in, everybody was just like, it's chaos. Everything's chaos everywhere. So it's, again, not surprising with a lot of these aspects. I don't know if your week has been chaotic, but let's do a general spread here where we're going to look at what is going on for the week, this particular week of 15th to the 21st. So first cards that I use, those of you who are not familiar with my channel, is I use cartouche cards, which are Egyptian, and these are part of, I do these in an astrological spread, hence the reason I always bring astrology into the mix when I'm starting. And this way we can see specifically what's changing in what areas. So, so let's see what we've got here. And with the cartouche cards that I use, which are my Egyptian deck, I've had these for many, many years. I'm also using tarot cards. This week's deck is going to be the Mystical Cats Tarot, which is one of my favorites. So we're going to do that. And let's see what we got for this week. Okay. Okay, so looking at things by house here, I'm going to start with the first house, which is the house of Aries, and that's about how we present ourselves to the outside world, how we identify with things. And again, just a quick note before I start, this is a general reading, so if you're watching this, it's probably something meant to resonate with you or for you. If you are watching this on a week that is not this particular week, then again, that doesn't mean that there isn't a message here for you. A lot of times we gravitate towards things on YouTube that that speak to where we're at, and so don't worry about the fact that it may not be the same week, and the fact that it's general. Like I said, you take what resonates, you leave the rest. If you enjoy with the content on this channel, please like and please subscribe, leave a comment. I would love to hear how these readings work out for you. Okay, anyway, all that out of the way. First house. Okay, so we have two things going on here. First I have the Isis card in the first house, the house of Aries. So Isis is a card, okay, we've got it with the two of Two of C, which is the Two of Cups in this card, in this deck. And so what we're looking at here, okay, when I see a 2 show up in the first house, it generally indicates that we are thinking about another, we may be reflecting the personality of another. Something about our identity may, especially with the Two of Cups here, which is usually has more of an emotional designation, potentially a love designation for some people. There may be this idea of, wanting to, you may be perhaps wanting to impress someone, wanting to mirror someone, or focusing more on others and others' feelings rather than your own at this point. So there's definitely a sense of being focused either on coming into a connection with somebody or with, having, or just having your own personal needs taking like a backseat to somebody else's. Like you may be wanting to do that. Isis is, of course, a very motherly energy. And in this particular deck, it has to do, in particular, with nurturing and nurturing something. So there's definitely a strong element of care and compassion to the Isis card in this deck. So yeah, this is very, very strongly water-oriented in this. And, but I also feel like Isis, especially with everything that's gone on, there's an element of self-care to this as well. So you want to make sure that you are, you may be thinking about others, you may be empathizing with others, reflecting the needs of others, but also remember to take care of your own needs. A lot of times that doesn't happen. We spend so much time looking at other people's needs that we're not thinking about ourselves. So I feel like it's not bad to think about the needs of others, but not to the harm or to the exclusion of what you need for yourself. Okay. Second house has to do with finance. And so this is the house of Taurus. And finance and also personal values. So this may have to do with that as well. Now we have Horus here. So Horus is a card of popularity, really. This is a card of being, of heroics, of things that we are, I feel like this is coming up because it's coming up with the Strength card. And this is one of my favorite cards in the Cat deck. There's the idea here that we may be struggling with something. So there could be a financial struggle. It could be a situation where, you don't feel like you have enough money, or maybe trying to figure out where money's coming from, or whether or not you're going to have enough money for something. Seeing these two cards together indicates to me having the strength to get through. I mean, not just the mental and psychological strength, but just having the know-how or the tools or the resources to know what to do. Okay. For somebody, this could mean a family member helping out financially, because Horus sometimes is connected very strongly to the home and to the family in this deck. So that's not for everybody, but that is possible. Overall, it just seems to indicate being able to pull through something that's difficult. Okay, when Horus comes up here, there's this idea of healing. There's an idea, like I said, there's a very strong family element. But it often comes up when we are indulging in something, as the way that it's written in, I remember it from the Cartouche book, was, those situations where we have the heroics of mind or the presence of mind to get through something, and then at the end of it, we not really sure how we did it, but it looks easy in retrospect, right? When you look back on it, you go, oh yeah, well, that was very simple. So I don't know. So this to me indicates if you're struggling with something financially right now, or trying to make some kind of a decision, this does seem to indicate having the strength to pull through a potentially difficult financial situation. Strength here also has to do with values, and so does Horus. So, all right, a little itch here. So I feel here like this is definitely could also be talking about situations in which our values are challenged. And in that case, with Strength card here, we definitely see this idea of being true to what our values are, being true to what we know is important, standing our ground with what we know is important, and being able to come through any kind of a struggle of that type. So wanted to throw that in there as well. Third house is Gemini energy, and this is the energy of communication. Can also have to do with siblings, brothers, sisters, and so forth, short journeys that we might be making. And we have Hathor here. Okay, so Hathor in the third house, for some people, this could be communication with a woman. There could be, if you're waiting for a particular message or a particular opportunity, this also has to do with self-effort, with business and things like that. So I think for some people, I just feel like this could indicate an important female. Okay, this could be an important female, like literally. And I don't always necessarily feel that way about this card, but that's what's coming out to me today. So for some of you, that's who you're waiting for a message from. Hathor otherwise has to do with, there's very strong, I feel like there's a strong Virgo connection to this. There is also strong Venus energy connected to this card. So it's a bit like the Empress, but it's also a bit like I said, like Virgo, in the sense of this has to do with somebody who is secure, is down to earth, is organized, has their act together. And whether you're male or female, I mean, this is just an attribute of this card, of having things together, whether you're using this in the domestic sphere or whether you're using this in the outer world. And, you know, and Hathor, of course, this is in the house of business. For some people, this could have to do with a sibling, a female sibling, if you have, you know, a sister who there might be some, you know, we're seeing this with the Ace of Fire, the Ace of Wands. So this has to do with messages, new beginnings, new things coming in. So this could be a message for somebody's sibling. But it can also indicate new beginnings and new starts. And aces often do bring messages as well. So we're talking about a message, again, either one from a woman, or there's something about this, about needing to get organized. You know, when this card comes up, it's definitely very auspicious for new beginnings that people are doing. So if you're about to start a new business, if you have been waiting for an important communication, this is all very, very positive sign. Because if Hathor doesn't specifically refer to a female, it can also, like the Empress, refer to a situation that is growing, that you need to put your attention in, that you need to be practical about, that you need to organize, but that is going to yield some kind of fruit. So very, very strong, powerful beginning here. So this, like I said, this could be messages that are coming in. And again, in particular, if it's a financial thing or a sibling thing, regardless of what it is, it's some kind of a powerful new message or new beginning that's coming in that has the potential to change things. So I feel like it's saying, get yourself ready, get yourself organized. Okay. So fourth house. Fourth house is Cancer energy. So this has to do with the home, your environment, your sense of personal security, whether it has to be attached to a particular building or not, because we also have to feel, quote unquote, at home inside of ourselves. And also this house has to do with the mother. So take it as it resonates. Now, okay, we've got water here. So for some people, this is a move. Okay, you're moving. And, you know, because water does indicate movement from one place to the next. Now, if you're not moving, okay, if you're saying, hey, I've got no plans to go anywhere for a while, which again, it's not going to be the same meaning for everybody. Water in that case would have to do with something that's very emotional connected to the home. Okay, water has to do with feelings and just movement and change. It could even be change just within your home. You may just decide you want to do something different. Being water is more emotional. You maybe want to create a space that is, or make some kind of a change that's going to make you feel more at home or feel more cozy or at ease or whatever. Sometimes it could be literally through bringing water in, installing fountains and things like that. Although this is and if you're certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, it's an odd time of year to do that. But there's definitely a sense of change. But we have it with the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is about things moving fast. So for somebody, this literally means like, this may be why you're getting ready over here, because maybe you're going to get a message and you're going to have to move fast. Okay? This could literally be like, I don't know, just as a way of example for somebody. This is not necessarily how it will go, but you could be given a new job offer, or there could be some kind of a thing that goes on where it's just kind of like, okay, we need you to relocate like next month, so we got to pick up and go. Could be that it's that kind of energy where there's just something very fast that's going to require you to move. And the fact that this is showing up in your house of security, it's kind of a thing saying, yeah, things are going to shift and change very quickly. That could actually be a very emotional thing with water as well. but basically it's saying go with the flow and get ready to move fast. I'm seeing that in a couple of different places here. So yeah, so you may be planning to move, or you just might be making some big decisions really quickly at this point that relate to your home, or relate to your residence, or your sense of or just your sense of being at home. Something is changing. If you have been in a stuck position for a while, you're definitely coming unstuck. Okay, 5th house. This is the house of Leo energy, and so it has to do with potentially with love affairs. It can have to do with children if you have children. It has to do with leisure, what you do for fun, for your recreation, and also, very importantly, with creative projects. Okay, so, okay, well, for somebody watching this reading, and yeah, again, this is not one of those things that's going to apply to everybody, but we have Buckle of Isis here, and Buckle of Isis in the child house generally can indicate a pregnancy. So there may be somebody around you, who may be pregnant. Okay, so that is a possibility for somebody. So if that has been something that you have been thinking about, or that's been on the table, where you've been wondering if somebody's been trying to get pregnant, or wondering if somebody is, this is, and you're tuning into this reading, it could be a yes. Okay. For people who are not dealing with the child issue or with pregnancy, Buckle of Isis in this case would have to do with, efforts that are made. Okay, Buckle of Isis represents a sacrifice that's made that is rewarded. So if you have been working on a project, it may be saying, look, the work that you put into this project, even if it's a lot of work, even if it seems to take up a lot of your time, it's going to be worth it. And definitely that meaning is supported by the second card, which is the 9 of Wands. 9 of Wands is about not giving up on something. You may feel exhausted. You may feel like, why am I spending my time on this? Or is this worth the effort? Or you know how it is, you're kind of, if you've been through waves and waves of difficulties with something, you're kind of sitting there just waiting, like, okay, when's the next one going to come along? It's that kind of energy with the nine of fire. It's like and oftentimes the other card that you will see, the Rider-Waite card, which is usually the traditional images we tend to associate with these cards. It usually shows a man kind of leaning on a stave and kind of looking over. And it's almost like they're vigilant. They're like, they're on high alert, because they're highly stressed and highly on alert. So, but this is considered to be a card of strength. If you look at it in the esoteric decks, they call it the card of strength, and so or a valor and of strength. So I feel like this is encouraging you. Again, we're seeing strength over here, and we're seeing this kind of strength over here. Something you're working on or working towards. Don't give up. It's almost like you're almost to the finish line. You're almost to where you need to be. So that's very encouraging, but it does suggest that this could be a stressful situation right now. And again, remember, this could have to do with somebody literally having a child. And of course that we know that people who've had children know that can be a very, very trying thing. They can be, so if we have, there's that aspect of it. It could be about, if it's not about children, it could be about a creative project, and it can also be about a love affair potentially. If you're having certain work may need to go into a relationship, and it may be saying it's worth the effort to make that work. And if you're thinking about recreation or leisure time, it may be saying that there's a little bit more work to be done before you get there. Okay, that there's something else that you need to put the work in before you're at the point of being able to say, okay, it's time to take a break. Okay, let's move on to the 6th house, which is the house of Virgo. Now, this is the house of worry, anxiety, because it's Virgo, but also work. Like when I say work, it's just generally what you're doing for your job and for things like that. As opposed to career. Sometimes people are doing things just for work. Sometimes it's the same thing, but sometimes you're doing something just for your job. That's a job that you use to make money. That's not really your career. Okay, that kind of thing, or service to others. It can also have to do with like I said, it got health inflection. Health is ruled by this house. Domestic animals. So any of those things could apply. Okay, so the first card we have here is Anubis. This could be somebody's dog. I don't know, but but Anubis here is. I feel like this has an energy of can't even talk. Protection. There's an energy of protection to this card, and when I see this here, it indicates to me that there may be something where maybe you feel the need for protection, whether it has to do with work, whether it has to do with, if somebody potentially is having a surgery or something like that, this is usually a good omen if you have to have a procedure of things going well, of successful anesthesia, hospitalization, all that kind of stuff, if that's part of the equation. So Anubis is usually very good if that's something that's on the table for you. But there's also a sense of if you're worried about a vulnerability, okay, because this is the house of worry. There may be something that's occupying your mind that's worrying you. This may be saying, that you're okay. You know what I mean? That things are going to be okay. And you have it with the Ten of Sky, the Ten of Swords, and Ten of Swords is about something coming to an end. So to me, now again, this card has a very, you see this poor cat, and it looks like it's, starving and looks like it's about to, about to take its last breath. I think, and it looks injured, like one of its eyes is out, and, it indicates you've been through the battle and the worst is over. That's what the Ten of Swords is about. Yes, something does definitively come to an end. So again, whether this is a job, whether this is, finally determining something about a health situation. And again, just to be very clear, I'm not doing a health reading here. This is just a very general thing. This may be more generally about people's general concerns about something. And, but it does indicate something coming to an end. And in spite of the fact that this seems like a very negative card, Ten of Swords actually means that it's almost a relief, because something that has really been worrying you or occupying your time is finally going to end. Something that has stressed you out, burdened you, perhaps created an ill effect on your health. It indicates it's over, or it's going to be over soon. So, so there's not... So that's the good news of that card. Something's coming to an end. But in conjunction with Anubis, it suggests to me that would mean you are transitioning to something new. Okay, and when I say that, I don't mean death in this way. Okay, some people might say like, oh, I'm sick and transitioning. Does that mean, no, that's not what that's about. It's just that whatever is you've been worried about or that's been occupying your time, and it seems to have more likely it has to do with a job. It could have to be a health worry too. It could be something that, okay, you get a procedure done and it's over with and now you don't have to worry about it anymore. There's definitely a strong sense of protection with the Anubis card. So no worries there. It does seem like just something that's occupying your and stressing you out is coming to an end. Okay, 7th house. This is the Libra energy. This is where our eclipse was in Libra. Actually, it's kind of between both houses. So yeah, this could also be connected to the eclipse as far as I'm concerned. This could be that is bringing something to an end. But again, there's this idea of protection and guidance in that movement to wherever else it is that you need to go, whatever change you need to make, really. Okay, so we have winged disc here in the 7th house. So this is good. This, for some people, will indicate a successful relationship or a relationship with a successful person. If you have been having difficulties in a relationship, this could indicate that those will be overcome, that there will be success. This is the card. This is the sun disc, so it illuminates. It's almost like the sun in the tarot deck. It's the happiest card in that deck, and this is really, I think, is the happiest card in the Cartouche deck. Along with the Ankh. I mean, they're the two happiest ones, and this one would indicate. So this definitely shines a very warm and bright light on any relationship prospects. We have this is called the Priest card. This is also called the Hierophant, and that for some people that can literally indicate legal marriage, something ending in marriage. So if there's been if that's something that's on the table for somebody or for a particular relationship that you're in. Or you have questions about a relationship, it could be pointing to something that's going to have, as a lot of readers like to say, the higher level of commitment, whatever that is, whether it's marriage or just some other kind of legalized partnership that is more, that represents a stronger commitment than just casually dating or getting together. Now, if you're married and in a relationship and this does not apply, like you're not looking for somebody, you don't have a question about a relationship, then I feel that this may have to do with another type of partnership. It could be a business partnership, can also be a legal matter because this is Libra and Libra is the scales of justice. So I feel like this is about coming through something like that, or bringing on a partner on board who is somebody who is an authority, because when this priest card comes up, it's somebody who is well known or who is an expert who can mentor you in some way. And Winged Disc would be saying, you know, that this could be a business partnership that's very successful, or there might be a person coming along who's going to be able to mentor you in that way. That's another possibility for this house. But also, yeah, again, also bodes very well for legal matters, because this is definitely about being within the bounds of convention and tradition and doing things the right way. So now let's look at the 8th house, which is Scorpio. And Scorpio energy is, you know, that's very deeply transformative energy. It's life and death, sex, the occult, for those of you who are esotericists, and also other people's money. Just as the 2nd house has to do with your money, the 8th house is just directly opposite, has to do with other people's money. So legacies, inheritances, things like that, property that you have from somebody else. And okay, so we have the twins here. Now the twins, unlike the tarot twins, which are the lovers, would be the equivalent, that card sometimes has to do with making decisions. The twins here, I feel like almost matches up with the 2 of C that we have, or 2 of Cups that we have in the 1st house. This to me indicates a significant partnership, okay, or somebody or some person who's coming in to help you move to the next stage of whatever it is that you're doing. There's something connected to a partnership. If it has to do with finances, then this could be money coming in from somebody else. It could be money coming in from a legacy or inheritance potentially, but it could literally just mean that you will have some kind of financial support. Now we have the 7 of Fire, or 7 of Wands. So this is a card of standing your ground in something, and that's interesting because it's with Strength we're seeing this too. There seems to be some kind of financial situation where you need to stand your ground, or some kind of big change that you're going through where there's a need to defend. Like 7 of Wands is about defensiveness. On the negative side, it can mean that you are fighting off the attacks of other people. But on a positive sense, it indicates other people may be trying to muddy the waters, and you know what you're talking about and you know what you're doing. So don't let other people muddy the waters on a particular thing. Sometimes what's coming into my mind too is that you may need to, at some point, you may need to move more towards negotiating than towards fighting. But nonetheless, because the twins also can have to do with that back and forth, right? But ultimately, there's this sense of needing to stand your ground on something, and make sure that you're getting what it is that you need in a particular situation, like not yielding. Something that comes to mind for me is people, if there has been, for people who perhaps are trying to settle an estate or something, you know how family stuff can get kind of weird with that at times, and people may feel, that whatever's been left to them is not, oh, that's not fair, or it should be this and that. But, I get the sense that if somebody's looking at this and that's their situation, it's saying, what's fair, stand your ground. Okay. There's definitely a strong sense of that. If that applies, that's not for everybody. So, but if that is your situation, then that's the message for you. Okay, let's go to the 9th house, which is Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy is this is about higher education. This is about long distance travel, and also about our beliefs, whatever they are. Regardless of whether you're a religious believer or not, this does have to do with it falls into that spiritual realm and also the realm of your philosophy of life and that kind of stuff. Okay. And we have the Earth card here. So for some people, this could mean traveling for some financial reason. Could be for work. Could be, we have it with the 3 of Earth, which is the 3 of Pentacles. And this is a card of collaboration with others, usually financial collaboration. So there may be a sense of working with others. For some people, this jumps into my mind. If you're starting an educational venture where you may be working with other people, this may be pointing to this being financially successful and something to work on building and pursuing. If not, it could just indicate that there's money or growth to be made somehow in this area. You may be trying to look at things, or your life outlook and your values may be taking a more practical turn, and more be seeing about how you can build foundations, because both Earth and the Three of Earth have to do with building foundations, often in collaboration with other people. Again, for some of you specifically, if you happen to work in higher ed, it may be within that context. It may be specifically within that context, or even if you're just, because this is higher ed, this is more, I would say this is less like elementary school kind of stuff or things like that. This is more university level kind of, education, because it's a bit deeper. It's a bit deeper than the kind of things we see down here in the third house, which still has to do with communication and knowledge and so forth, but not on that deep level. So so there's somebody who's if you're thinking about where you're going to make your money, that's possibly where it's going to be. But I feel like there could also be a trip in the offing, or money for a trip comes into my mind too. There could be that kind of a situation where if you're, and again, there's this sense of collaboration. So yeah, either somebody, this has to do with one area or the other, but there's definitely a sense of growth, of building, of trying to build something. For some people, it may literally just be going back to school, like finding the money to go back to school to be able to build something new or have a new skill. So yeah. So we'll see what that, you see what that means for you. 10th house, this is Capricorn energy, and this has to do with our reputation, our career, our fame, like how we appear to the world. House of the father, sometimes people say the 9th house is the house of the father, but I've always associated more with the 10th. And we have Urias here. Okay, so for some people, this is going to be a change in your career situation that you were not expecting. That does not mean that it is a negative change. As a matter of fact, we have with it the 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Cups is a wish fulfillment. So you may be looking at your career trajectory or your career path as being a certain thing, or having to go in a certain way or a certain order. That may get all messed up on you, but it's for a good reason, because you're actually going to come out where you need to be. So if you're very secure in your career right now, there could be some changes. There could be some things coming along that will actually prove to be very, very nice changes that will be satisfying, that will get you to something, perhaps a goal that you've had or something that you wanted. Okay. Now, if we go to the 11th house, which is Aquarius and Aquarian energy, okay, we have Seth here. So Seth is always a card of a problem. So this house has to do with friendships, networks, potentially with your goals, and where you're trying to get to. So this indicates problems. So for some people, yeah, this could be an argument with a friend, could be a disagreement with somebody in your network, or just a friend of yours maybe who you're worried about, who is upset or has some kind of an issue. It can also just indicate obstacles to achieving your goals. You may be worried about something like that. And we always draw a second card when Seth comes up in the cartouche. So we have fire as the second card. And fire indicates this is about purifying. It's about burning up. So you may be encountering a certain situation, or your friend may be encountering a certain situation because there's something that is just not working. And the idea is you need to burn up the rubbish, as it were. You need to get rid of it. You need to, and need to seek new inspiration too. Because fire is about new inspiration. If we want to be quite literal, sometimes this could be an argument with a fire sign person. Okay. But I don't know that it's necessarily meant that literally, but that could apply for somebody. But there's just this idea of needing to seek new inspiration and needing to really burn out of your life, so to speak, all those things that are not working for you anymore. Like, just get rid of it, whether they be relationships, networks, associations, or whether it's just obstacles to your goals. You may be being forced to reevaluate at this point. And we have it with the 2 of Pentacles, the 2 of Earth. And this is a card of making decisions. You may have to make some choices with regard to your goals, or with regard to who you're associating with. If you are there may be certain arrangements or agreements, or you could have a friendship that's feeling more draining and more controlling than like a true friendship, and maybe you want to think about like, is this something that I need to continue on with, or perhaps we should just part ways. But two of Pentacles also has to do with keeping a lot of plates spinning. So I feel like for some people, something is an obstacle to you being able to do what it is that you really want. Like you may be trying to do too many things at once, and you're trying to juggle all of those things, and it may be that it may be a decision time coming up about what you might need to drop. Because you can carry that juggling act, and usually Two of Pentacles is about successfully juggling many different things, but you may be reaching a point where it's like, okay, something's going to have to go. So I think there's an energy of that as well, and that would be fire, the thing you're going to get rid of. Okay, 12th house, this is Pisces energy, and this is about your fears, what's unconscious. You know, if the first house is what you show to people, this is what you don't show to people, this is what's in shadow, so to speak, as well as, you know, the 12th house is the realm of all kinds of stuff. Pisces is everything from your creative inspiration and your, you know, dreaming. Generally, this is a house of withdrawal, of wanting to be alone. But it also can be a card of foreign travel, because the idea is that you're exiled from your family. So that's why this is a house of like being away from things. Is that definitely a strong energy? And yeah, this is not the first time this has come up. We've gotten Sphinx here again. And Sphinx is a card of excavation. So this is, to me, is that there may be stuff coming up from the depths, as it were. You may find that, you know, this may come out in dream material. It may come out in synchronicity, where you continually notice the same thing. People often talk about it with patterns of numbers, but it doesn't have to be anything like that. It can just be, you know, you keep hearing the same word or phrase or name somewhere, and you're like, why does that keep coming up? Like that's you know, it could be pointing out a pattern of something. Your unconscious may be trying to point something out to you. Or you may actually just be doing some work, like trying to figure these secret things out. This is the card of secrets, and this is the card of what's hidden. So I feel like there may be a concern about secrets, maybe about things that you don't know. But I also feel like this card comes up when you need to really dig deep on, you may have some deep stuff that's coming up. You may be learning some truths about yourself. And we have it with the Fire Kitten, which is the Page of Wands. And so that has to do with messages. So yeah, to me, that would definitely be strong messages coming through dreams for some of you. It could be, you know, this has to do with, pages have to do with messages, but also with new beginnings. So there may be some kind of an inspiration there. If again, this 12th house does have a creative element to it, so this may have to do with something coming in the back of your mind, some kind of an idea that you want to bring forward. Okay, and you know, so yeah, so that may be worth digging into. That may be worth getting it out there. But with Sphinx also being a card of secrecy, it may be something maybe you're working on, but don't necessarily want to share it with a lot of people right now. So anyway, there's definitely these elements, but I feel like there's messages coming through for a lot of people. Like the universe is trying to tell you something, okay, in some fashion. And it may be trying to point you to something deeper that you need to look into. So, you know, digging deeper to find something that may reveal a truth or an answer to something that maybe has been bothering you psychologically, or just might be, you feel like might uncover whatever block it is that you have to other things that are going on. Okay, so overall we have, not bad, we have the Bast card, and it's funny, we have it with cat magic. I shouldn't really think that. I'm using the cat tarot, and you've got the little cat on the Bast card, because Bast is the cat goddess. But when I see these two together, I mean, Bast generally, in spite of everything that's going on, in spite of all the changes, it's basically saying, you know, you want to enjoy life, make sure you're enjoying life. You know, as things change, you want to make time for play. I mean, I know we're seeing this thing over here of like trying to get through something that's, you know, that's difficult. I mean, the Magician card is a card of manifestation. It's a card of making things happen. And with Bast, there's definitely a sense of not only connecting into your sense of intuition, but your sense of play. If you're making a big change, like, okay, this is coming into my mind. If you happen to be somebody, say, who is taking a risk on a business, let's just say you've decided, I'm sick of the 9-to-5 crap, and now I've got my business, and I want to work on that, but I have all these concerns and worries and things happening too fast and blah, blah, blah. That, you mean, the Magician card is a card of manifesting. You know, you have the skills to manifest, but remember that, as a lot of times people forget when they decide to leave the 9-to-5 realm and then they go into the business realm, they think they have to suffer as much doing that as they do the other. And it's saying, remember that you have to take time to play. Remember that, and also listen to your intuition. No, don't always just look at, yes, facts are important to look at, but when it comes to something that's long term, we tend to start trying to judge the future based on the present, and we don't have all the information at present. So you can make some short-term judgments, but there's the idea of you want to be enjoying yourself and you want to listen to your instincts as much as the bottom line. So I feel like that's important for some people. But yeah, there's definitely this energy of manifesting, and I feel like people in general are moving towards being able to do something that they really want with their lives. Like towards what makes you happy. Bast is the happiness card. Okay. So I think that's the overall tone of this. You have the tools and you have the ability to make yourself happy. It may require some work. It will require working with others to some degree. Some changes coming in the career area, like, there's going to be some endings over here, some things that we're worried about, but we have this 9 of Cups. We have this wish fulfillment for somebody. So obstacles you're facing may require some decisions. And there definitely seems to be, again, this idea, and I've seen this in these readings over the last few weeks, there seems to be this idea of collaborating with others, or something about working with others or having a financial arrangement with others. So, it will, again, take that as it resonates. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pull one card from the Moonology deck since we've just had an eclipse. This was the deck that was in front of me this morning, so I'm going to use this one as our extra oracle reading, one more card just to kind of finalize the whole reading. Let's see what card we get. I'm waiting for something to flip. I have an itch. Okay, yeah. First quarter moon, your commitment is being tested. Okay, so this card often comes up when we feel stuck, or we feel in a particular situation where we're maybe not entirely sure about the path forward. Some things may be dubious, and so we may need to take a look at the situation, or get somebody else to look at the situation with a pair of fresh eyes, and maybe reevaluate where we want to go. That doesn't mean, again, this to me has an element of the 7 of Wands, in the sense of your commitment to your path is being tested. You may have things happening that you kind of go, oh, I don't know, maybe I should be doing something different. But I feel like there's also a sense of stand your ground here. Doesn't mean you might not need to make some adjustments to things, but but nonetheless, it's you may have things that test that right now. You may have influences from other people and so forth that, however well intended, maybe you don't need right now. Make sure that you're understand that it seems like you are, aside from maybe a few minor adjustments, it does feel like people are on the right track here. There are some changes. There may be changes coming very, very quickly for some people, and some new messages and things coming in. But again, I feel like all of this is leading you to a truer place. Like, one things that eclipses do, especially an eclipse in Libra with the Justice energy, which is about, among other things, truth and truthfulness. I feel like the truth comes out. And the truth sets you free. And the truth is something that takes you to where you actually need to go. So that's it for me for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry for the lateness of this again, because it seems to be the way it goes these days. But enjoy your week. Be well. Comment. Let me know how this reading worked for you. And I'll see you next week.